Hi, I'm Meshea.
Hi, I'm Peggy.
And we are Hitting the Road in Mississippi. Hello everyone, this is Meshea with Hitting the Road in Mississippi, and I am here with Miss Hit the Road herself, Peggy Brown. I am so honored to be here with you.
Thanks, Meshea. I'm honored to be here with you.
We actually hit the road this week, folks.
We actually hit the road this week event. It was the Governor's Excellence Award in the Arts, and it's held every year in the state of Mississippi.
Well, why was it significant to us? Why did we hit the road for it? Of course, we're about all of the arts, but it was like really, really significant to us.
It was really, really significant this year because King Edward Antoine was nominated as the winner in the music category. So it was... Okay, here I am with King Edward Antoine. Well, all right, one last thing. On the awards event the other night, was on the whole day, it was long. I mean, you were tired. June was tired. Peggy was tired. It was a long day. But was there one part of the day that like was the best, or can you, or maybe not?
One part of the day was the best is when I was on that stage singing to him.
Okay.
And I enjoyed it there because that's when I could see everybody was into it.
Right.
And, I said, oh, yeah, I got them now.
You did have them now.
We did more pictures.
We did more pictures out in the
with the
foyer.
senator.
Yeah. In the rotunda.
Right, right. And then out in the rain.
And then out in the rain, and King Edward got loaded up in the van, he and Miss June, to be carried down to the two museums to do a walkthrough / minor rehearsal for the evening's events. And so Meshea and I, of course, ran through the rain and got our vehicle and drove down there to, be there for the walkthrough.
And kudos to the staff because they had the wheelchairs ready for him. They just had it all, it was lined up, it was ready. And that takes some coordination, just like that.
Everything was set up for him.
It was.
That was, I had asked for that, and they absolutely did it, and that made it so much easier. And they knew, of course, where they were going. And so we did go down for the walkthrough, and that was short, and found out where everybody would be sitting for the evening event. Then
and then it all changed before the event happened.
Exactly, changed all the seating arrangements.
But we knew when we were there what we were going to be doing.
We knew where King Edward would be sitting.
He didn't change. That didn't
Miss
change.
June, we knew where her place was. So that was
everything
that was
else changed. But
and then again, and by this time, everybody in the party was a little tired around the edges, but especially King Edward and June, because they'd been awake, really long time, and I'm not sure how they slept the night before, but anyway, we got them checked into the Westin and all that kind of stuff, and they got to go up to their room.
Well, little trick to going up to your room, folks.
A little trick.
Yeah.
You're supposed to use your key card to touch the pad to make the elevator go up. And we didn't know that. We just kept sitting there pushing the floor that they were going to, and the elevator wasn't going anywhere. And finally, the guy who had their luggage had come back down to get over to the elevator to see why we weren't moving.
Like, really? That's a new one. And it's not like I haven't stayed in nice hotels, nor Peggy. We have stayed in nice hotels.
That is a new one on us.
And plus, we were tired and hungry.
We were tired and hungry.
And so
we got them checked in their room. And then Meshea and I decided to go down to the nice restaurant at the Westin. Got some takeout for King Edward and Miss June. Took it up to them, and we had a nice little lunch before we got out in the monsoon again.
Yes. Again.
So we then went home to change clothes to get on our nicer clothes for the evening. And fortunately, King Edward and Miss June got to rest for about 3 hours without having to go somewhere. And then, again, the schedule started up, and they got loaded up in the van and came down for supposed to be a 4 o'clock sound check for King Edward with the band that was going to play behind him.
And so while we were waiting for King to get there, the band had gotten there, and the band was kind of not exactly as planned because they made an exception for King Edward.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk a little about that.
The band consisted of, and they call themselves the Jazz Combo, so they call themselves the Mississippi Arts Awards Jazz Combo.
Right, and they're amazing, just as they are.
Oh, they're stellar.
Stellar.
Missouri Leach, consummate guitar player that can play anything. Raphael Sims, consummate bass player, and he's played with King Edward in the past over the years. And then Bill Perry Jr., and he was the keyboard player, and he's Hal and Mad Bill Perry's son.
There you go.
And so he's actually played with King Edward in the past. And so when the Arts Commission asked me if King Edward would perform, and I said yes, and I found out who the musicians were, I said, he really is going to need his drummer, because King Edward he hears so much of the beat that keeps him straight on his blues songs,
especially not being able to play anymore.
Right.
He would need that.
And he actually, needed, even though he's played with two of these guys, just to have his drummer there so that King could tell him, okay, you kick it off. And then, because they have a long relationship of drummer and guitar player. Mm-hmm. So, long story short, the Mississippi Arts Commission agreed to add Rick Lewis to the combo. It was wonderful.
They were great.
The band had practiced King Edward's song, and his song he sang was Bring Your Pretty Self Home. It's one of his original songs on his last CD, 50 Years of Blues.
And
King Edward and I wrote that song together.
There we go. You have to make her do. You have to make her do this, folks. She's so humble. She won't talk about what she has done. So
well, yeah, King and I did that song together.
Yes.
I haven't performed that song. We wrote the song.
You wrote the song. Yes.
So
and no, not taking dictation like Frederica's.
Yes.
You literally
but
wrote
I did
this.
do that as well.
But you literally wrote it, though. You literally helped write it.
Right.
Compose. You literally helped compose.
He says I did, so we'll go with that. So, and it's quite a catchy song. It's upbeat, and you just want to get up and dance to it. And
yeah. Everybody wanted to.
Everybody wanted to. And the guys had rehearsed it and knew it just perfectly. So
it was great.
It was great. So we got there for the sound check and wheeled him in there, and they knew just how to start it off, just like it was on the CD, and it made him so happy.
pretty song. Bring your pretty song. Bring your pretty song. Everything gonna be alright. I'll buy you a Cadillac car in a diamond ring. If you only bring your pretty song, your pretty song. Bring your pretty song. Bring your pretty song. Everything gonna be alright.
He didn't want to quit singing in rehearsal, so you can imagine what it was like when we got to the show.
Well,
He didn't want to quit singing then.
He had already prepared you for that.
Yes, he
That's
did.
kind of part of what went into preparing him for his big day.
Mm-hmm.
Because for someone who was, well, are they going to pay me? And, Miss Peggy was kind of concerned. Miss Peggy, because that's what
he calls
when we're
me.
talking King Edward stuff, I go into Miss
Right,
Peggy mode
right.
because that's what he says.
That's what he calls me.
We're a little concerned if would he perform or not.
Right.
It turned into, well,
He wanted to do 2 songs.
You know, that really made me sing then. All right.
So I kind of thought you wanted to keep singing, isn't that right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I started to do another one, but we hadn't rehearsed it, so I just
And we ran out of time.
ran out of time. That's right. Sure did.
And I said, oh man, King, I wish you could, but there's not time for the show. It only lasts an hour, and there were 7 honorees, and so we were on a time schedule. And I said, man, I hate it, but there's not going to be time for a second one.
he was going to just add another one in.
He was, and I think he was disappointed because after the rehearsal, when the guys played his song so well, he goes, man, I should have had y'all in the studio with me, because it was wonderful.
good.
And I was so pleased for him because he didn't have to be nervous about performing his song.
No, he didn't. Yeah.
No.
Well, while all of that was going on,
Yes,
arriving on the scene
yes,
to be there to honor him
yeah,
was, and I mean this in the most respectful of ways, was the diva of blues herself.
the fabulous Miss Misty Blue Dorothy Moore
Yes.
wanted to come down and honor King Edward and be there for his event. And I told her, whoa, it's going to be raining. She came down there. Her son-in-law brought her
She did.
and brought her up to the door. And she came scooting into the lobby all dressed up in her red
In
sweater
red.
and black pants.
And her red shoes.
And her little red shoes
Oh, I
to
love
match
those
her red
shoes.
sweater. And so when people knew who that was, of course, everybody wanted to do a photo.
Oh, it was photo op after photo op after
Photo
photo op.
And finally she quit. She wanted to get up out of her chair and take pictures standing up because that's what she likes to do. But after a while, there were so many pictures, she just decided just to sit in her chair and not get out.
She did.
And that was so respectful of her to come and be there
It
with King
was.
Edward.
It was.
And some other people came as well. Bluesman Eddie Cotton
Eddie Cotton was there.
and his road warrior manager John Genous came.
Right.
And then we had some people from the Central Mississippi Blues Society, Francis Flemings and Malcom Shepherd, and a few other people came to be there for King Edward. So he just had a little contingency of people there, and
Right.
and Brenda Willis and Linda Walker
They
were
were
there
back.
as well,
Mhm.
and some other people that knew him. But King Edward so appreciated Eddie coming. We invited him, but King Edward really appreciated that because Eddie credits King Edward with teaching him how to play the blues. And Eddie will say that all the time, that he learned to play the blues from King Edward at the Subway Lounge. And so for him to come and then actually help King Edward get up the ramp on the stage, push him up the ramp in the wheelchair, we put him to work.
That's where all of our musical chairs got into place.
Yeah.
Because John was supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Well, so John and Peggy were going to sit in one place.
Right.
And Eddie and I were sitting in another place because we all
Right.
have assigned chairs. So then John gets there and he's like, Eddie needs to do that.
Right. And
So-
John was saying he'd hurt his knee, which he
Right.
was kind of
Right.
kicked up. And so
Right.
it would be good if Eddie did
If
it.
Eddie did it.
And so,
So then Eddie's like, well, what is it? He said, well, I know jujitsu or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't
that's right,
know.
he said.
It was like, I don't know, Hong Kong Fooey or something,
Right.
you know. I mean, he was
thought
lighthearted.
he thought he was physically fit to
Right.
push him up the ramp. I think he had an issue, maybe 3/4 of the way up, but nevertheless,
Yeah, it was a good thing you didn't
It
try
was
to
a
do
good
it
thing
because
I didn't.
it was rough to do. And the poet laureate actually had to help move
Right, she had to help pull him up.
Yeah, because it was rough. But so then so yeah, he actually pushed him up there, which worked out well. So it ended up being me and John. Then you ended up actually moved over by King. So I mean, we played musical chairs,
played
folks.
musical
We didn't sit anywhere where rehearsal said we were going. I was in my seat.
yes, you were in
And-
your seat.
And
Miss Jane
John
was
tried
in
to
hers.
take it. John tried to take my
Oh,
seat.
okay.
He's like trying to move the papers. I said, no, you're not. This is my seat. Just to be difficult, folks. But I was really glad to see that Eddie got to do that because it is the truth, folks. I heard Eddie before I heard King Edward because I am relatively new to blues and freely admit that. And if I close my eyes, I can't tell the difference. I cannot tell the difference between the two playing. Eddie, of course, learned playing gospel, but when it comes to his blues licks, I can't tell the difference.
It sounds like King Edward.
It sounds like King Edward. And yeah, Eddie pushed him right up there,
Right up there.
And, until there was that bump in the road.
Until-
But he got him just fine. But so yeah, but Miss Moore, she did kind of hold court out there. That was
She did, and when King Edward finally got finished with his sound check, we rolled him out in the lobby, and so they sat there and took a multitude of pictures with friends, the two of them sitting beside each other, and
which
then
was amazing.
and then we
The
got
King
Eddie.
and Queen.
We got Eddie in the picture, and we also got Rick Lewis in the picture, and so the four of them together. Now Rick has played drums for all three of those artists. I mean, he was in Dorothy Moore's band for a while. He was in Eddie Cotton's band way back when Eddie first started his band after
Right.
the Subway, and then Rick has played with King Edward for years. So there was a lot of blues history in that picture of four people.
And the senator was out there during
Yep,
all of this
he came
too.
out.
The senator came out.
Yeah,
So that was even,
yeah,
he was enjoying all of that too.
Yeah.
And then other people, the people from the Hilton Garden Inn, they came
yeah.
and they were just enamored by him. I mean,
Yeah.
they're like, can we go up and talk to him? Can we get our picture with him? And we're like, well, absolutely, you know.
Absolutely.
So, so they went up, and all the people from like the blues, from the Arts Commission that had been helping arrange everything, they were coming out, and they went up and had their pictures made with both of them and with him, and just so many people coming in, and they were kind of like standing back, and they're like, "That's King Edward, that's Miss Dorothy," that's, you know, and we're like, "Yeah, that's them," and
Yeah.
so it was just, it was truly an historic moment. I mean, here they were. She's on her scooter. He's in a wheelchair. She's all decked out in red with her little jewel-looking shoes, which are just freaking awesome. Every time she wears them, I'm like, it's amazing. And then here he is in his tux and his styling profile and hat, you know. And it was, to be new to blues, even I was like blown away by it. So I can't imagine someone who's been their managers and worked with them as long as you have. I can't imagine. I can't imagine what it was for
It
you.
was a combination of Mississippi blues royalty,
Yeah,
all there together, and the music that they have produced,
yeah,
and then to throw Eddie in the picture, and then to have Rick in the picture, and the people that they have made happy with their music.
yeah.
It's I mean, that's a picture for the ages in my book.
The whole scene was. I mean, just
Yeah.
watching it. I've got
Yeah.
chills now just talking about
Yeah,
it. Just
yeah.
watching it all unfold.
Yeah.
And just the people going by, and the people that were stopping and like whispering and pointing, and the people, the other honorees even coming through, going in, that were like stopping and talking to them going in and saying, "Don't know if you remember me or know who I am," and or people that were with the other honorees, and I mean, yeah, I mean everybody knows who they are.
Now, Dorothy Moore received this award in 1996.
A long time ago.
So it was a while back,
Right.
and she was chosen to receive the Governor's Arts Awards.
Mhm.
And so she kind of knew how it was going to go, but
Right.
was so appreciative of her coming to support you.
It was fun though.
It was fun.
Real nice. And I want to thank Miss June Granger for being there. My
I
wife
know.
hit me, and Dorothy Moore, Eddie Cotton, and all of them. I enjoyed them. So,
Yeah, that was really, I thought, nice of Eddie to come, and
Yes.
he wanted to pay his respects.
yes,
And for Dorothy to just come cruising up,
yes.
she wanted to do that as well, and I just thought that was real
That
special.
was special. Very
Yeah.
special. I was glad to see him.
Yeah.
You know, that really made me sing then.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you for joining us, and you can reach out to us at this email address, htrprb@gmail.com. We'd love to hear any ideas you might have about what we're doing, or any suggestions about where we might go or someone we might interview.
As we are hitting the road in Mississippi.